Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to present a project on how to write a review article within the topic of petroleum engineering. So primarily what we need is Scopus website and Google Scholar with some keywords that we are keen to search our topics. So basically today we are going to focus on petroleum contamination. Petroleum contamination can be diverse within weather or environment like atmosphere or soil or water bodies like lakes or groundwater. So this review, it will focus on reviewing all the articles that is related to this topic. So the title, we will be drafting the last, but for the abstract, I'm going to highlight the main things that we need to focus on this review. First, we are going to search for the review articles on the petroleum contamination. Sorry for the errors. Okay, that one I'm going to call it petroleum contamination. Review papers. So I'm going to see if there is any review papers within this topic has been published already or had been published over the literature. Second, I'm going to search different keywords. So petroleum contamination in like soil, or petroleum contamination in water, petroleum contamination. Okay, I'm getting back to you. Okay, in atmosphere. Dear Dr. Khaldoon, please, whenever you want to say something, just say it, no problem.
Okay.
Do you hear me now?
Yeah, Doctor, I hear you.
Okay. I think there is something wrong. I cannot use my mic. Hopefully now, okay. Second thing that we are going to do is set the span of the period that I'm going to search. So for example, this kind of project that will be managing a PhD candidate. So I prefer to cover a kind of two decades of research. So something like 2000 to 2020. Even if there is some kind of review paper has been published like 2018 or 17, still we are covering a big domain. So that we have the opportunity to have this paper accepted somehow. So I am going to search for this topic, then going to download some papers, then I will explain what we are going to do. So petroleum contamination, and I'm going to say soil. And let's say 2017. So here the result that come out 2017, I will search it for from 1 to 10. Those 10 pages. I'm going to download all the keywords that's coming in bold because this is the main keywords I'm using. After I download all those papers, I will later on categorize them based on what is good for me, what shall be deleted. So for now, I'm going to download some papers as I'm focusing on contamination in soil. Then I will see how can I abstract those information from this paper. So let's go directly with like, for example, for you guys, I mean, the one who are going to survey this, you need to download all, but I'm going to select randomly some papers. So variation of soil, different response to soil petroleum contamination. Let me see this one. It's kind of interesting. So for me, myself, I'm using this feature of Elsevier because Science Direct, so I can download all the papers from Science Direct freely. But for you guys, you can use this one, sciencehub.se for downloading other papers. So this is the paper that I'm going to abstract its information to my body of review paper. So this is different response of soil petroleum contamination in monocultured and mixed plant system. So we need to focus on different things that skimming the paper. So those things, because we are going to categorize our paper to different heading: introduction, literature review, survey assessment, research gap, future research direction, and conclusion. So for the introduction section, for a review paper, you need to have 1.1 research background. I mean, what is the background of this topic? What is the importance of petroleum contamination to the human health? In general, you're just giving a kind of one-page introductory. Second thing is the research significance. What is the importance of this topic? I mean, the focus of this research significant. Third thing, what is the types of contamination? As I mentioned, soil, water, and atmosphere. So all those things we need to highlight in this section. Fourth thing, which is the necessity for establishing this review. Actually, this section is very important because when you are doing this for this review paper, you need it also for the papers. If you are going to perform master or PhD research, you need this section as a kind of justification for your ongoing research. So the necessity for establishing this review, I mean, what has been done to date, up to date, what are the topics explored, what are the solutions have been reported. I mean, all the over the literature. I mean, you need to answer those questions. It's in a kind of elaboration to give a reason why you are establishing this review. Or, for example, what is the relation? The missing review research in the literature. I mean, for example, there is no literature review research in this topic. You also need to elaborate on that. The significance or the importance of this review due to such a kind of urbanization, or there is a kind of new development in petroleum engineering, or it's a kind of boosted research in this domain, and we need a new benchmark. It's a kind of a stop point that we need to follow. Benchmark survey. So this section is very important. Finally, which is the research objectives. Research objectives shall be drafted at final, because after you survey all the papers, there is a new ideas come in your mind. What is the main objective of this research? So here, this is the introductory to the review paper. Now the literature review. What I mean literature review, here there are main sections that you need to focus on in your review. So for example, we are saying petroleum contamination in soil. So this section 2.1, it will focus on all the research has been adopted on petroleum contamination in soil. There might be new section like 2.1.1 and others. That is depend on your survey. I mean, if there is some new category in this section, that will be generated based on your survey. I mean, what you abstract, what you understand, then you need to report it in this subsection. So I have said there are three main sections as I expected will be petroleum contamination in water and petroleum contamination in like let's say atmosphere, better here, something like this, atmosphere. So we have three new, but Mike, there are some other things. We need,
I can ask someone.
Sure. You ask whom?
Okay, Doctor, the subject of literature review must be specially for title or close from title?
No, the review, it must be focus. I mean, because, you know, there are many reviews. So we need to focus on this review so that we have the opportunity to publish it. So basically your research will be focused on petroleum contamination. Maybe you will further in your research as an analysis, I mean, as a real application only for atmosphere. But however, you need to report all those things. Because for such a kind of review, if you only focus on atmosphere, reviewer might ask, I mean, why you didn't survey the water bodies or soil? Because both of them connected, I mean, interacted with the petroleum. So now I want to go to something called table X1. In this table, you need to summarize your review. So here we're going to say references. Okay. Then, for example, case study. I mean, where is this study conducted?
Yeah. Headline?
It is not headline. I mean, you see this is the paper that we have downloaded, this one, correct?
Okay, good.
We need to analyze this paper in the form of table result. I mean, as I am interested reader in this topic, I just need to read this table. I mean, I can find all the information of this paper in this table. So the reference, the case study, I need to see what kind of things to put in this table. So the role of plan should be considered during the evaluation risk. Okay. To evaluate the influence of plant composition on physiotoxic and petroleum degradation for treatment were arranged in this present. Okay, so you see even here, this is one table, but maybe you need to generate another table because different section. So here there are some researchers, they recognize that there is petroleum contamination in soil. Tamam? So now they are proposing a new solution or new kind of treatment. So type of treatment. You see here what they said? They said 4 treatments were arranged in this present study. So we need to know what are those treatments. So same this research. Maybe those people, they use X, Y, Z treatment. So other research, they use different kind of treatment. So here is the type of treatment. It's essential part to put in this table. So another thing is, you see here, ecological risk assessment. To evaluate the influence of plant composition on There are different type of assessment indicators. Petroleum degradation 3. So we need to put a kind of assessment indicator. This is one thing. Then we need to go further reading this paper. So here are the type of treatment. You can see they mention it only. Unplanned, Bristol grass only, alfalfa only, and Bristol grass and alfalfa mixed plant, and contaminated soil or petroleum contaminated. So you need to generate this table. As I said, they depend on the information presented in your papers.
Okay.
Some papers has more information than other. So, for example, for this paper, we have observed 10 essential information to be presented. If you find in another paper that only 8, so for the other 2, you just say, I mean, it's not available. I mean, not provided or something like that. So, but the most important thing when you start your review, you need to generate this table, because this one will summarize for you all the papers that you are going to download. So again, here that Mendeley is the main feature for your review. So you need to download this, like either by downloading this paper as a PDF and drop it in your library, or you just search the article in. I prefer you download the paper, because as a review paper, you need to read all those papers. So just search this, download as RefMan, then double click here. It will be directly uploaded to your library. Once you want to cite here, you just click here, Alt M, paste the title, okay. So it will be cited here. Finally, in the reference list, you just need to say reference, insert biography. So it will be generated automatically. I prefer you put the reference in the kind of at the end of the sentence. For example, you are writing a paragraph in your body, in your text body of your content. Always write the reference at the end of the sentence. Why? Because, for example, if you are willing to submit your paper to one journal that they consider, for example, IEEE Access, or let's see what will come. For example, IEEE, it will be numbering. But for example, if you are willing to send it to like Journal of Hydrology, it will be name of the author and the year. So when you put the reference at the end of the sentence, you don't need to modify anymore. So once you submit one paper to one journal, rejected, you need to submit it to another journal. It is just a matter of one click to return back to the journal citation format. It will save a lot of time for you, especially if a review, because review paper usually around 300, 400 citation, reference. So you need to make sure that using Mendeley. I insist to use Mendeley because it's easier than EndNote, and all the journal format is there. So now introduction section done, literature review done. We know the content of the literature review. I will try to summarize this paper for you as an example. So let me go back to the paper itself, which is here. Why I'm not seeing the paper here? Okay, now let's say download. This is the paper. So I would like to know where is this case study. Usually I just search data. I can't find all the data I mean. Okay. See here, there is another thing I want to mention, the data availability. Some paper, they put the data that have been used for their research. So when I click here, it will send me to the main website of the paper, which is here. This is supplementary material I download from here. Sometimes it's available, sometimes not. You see that this is the data that has been used. So basically, the main data that has been used in this research, those are the data. Maybe you can say that in this table, again, I will go back to this table, the chemical elements studied. So you know where to find it. I find it easily because I download those data. So also I want to add something like data availability. You know, most of the research conducted over the literature, they do not put the data that they use in this research. So for example, this research, they did not put the data. I mean, they did not place all the data in the paper. Data availability for a kind of review, it's very important. Why? Because recently there has been exploration for fake data, fake research. So we are eager, or we are emphasizing recently to make the data available. So we can discuss this one later in the survey assessment. I mean, for example, you have found that out of 200 papers, only 10 papers, they make the data available. I mean, available for the readers. So here we need to discuss this problem. I mean, we need to say that data, such a kind of data must be presented, must be made available for readers because maybe they want to further study those data. So this section 3, survey assessment, we will try to assess, to evaluate, to discuss all the things that we are going to report here. I mean, in section 2, we are going to discuss how many cases study, which region mainly focus on petroleum contamination, if Iraq, why Iraq, if Saudi Arabia, why Saudi Arabia. For example, type of treatment, which type of treatment it's perfectly fit and for which region, what kind of indicators, why they use this indicator, how many times they use this indicator, all those things we will report here in the assessment section. The assessment section is the most important part of the review paper. Why is that? Because you are going to summarize the 300 paper here in this section, section 2. You are only summarizing. I mean, this input, this output, this case study, this data, this is the result. But there is an important thing for a reader, just like I'm interested in this topic. I want to know more. I mean, what you have provided me. I mean, you are the writer, you are the researcher, or you are the academic person. What did you understand from this review so that you're going to tell me in this section, survey assessment? Again, you are going to recognize the research gap. I mean, what things that not reported in the literature? I mean, what things that we need to do in the future? I mean, this section is a kind of recognizing a kind of limitation of the conducted studies in this domain. Things not yet explored, things not yet explored, new knowledge based on the new vision of human health. I mean, something come up that recently studied by Nature or by Science that saying that this topic is very important and need to be studied. I mean, we need to recognize the research gap. This is good for you personally as a PhD candidate. Also good for the readers and interested readers in this topic. Also, this one will be a kind of point to increase the citation for your research. So if you are mentioning a lot of research gap, all the people interested in this topic going to cite this paper because you are covering all the research gap to be studied like another 10 or 20 years further. So focusing on this is really important for a review. Same thing for the assessment. Assessment, I will come back to write something here. So I will come back again to the paper. So we got the data available on the EDC case study. Let me see section 2. Usually section 2 has the data explanation or the data. Okay. The used soil in this study was cotton field in the Yellow River Delta. So Yellow River Delta, I think China. This is China.
Okay.
So just let me make sure it's China. China. So here we are going to say the case study. Do not make pests. You see here the important thing. Do not make any copy paste in your Word file. Do not make it at all. Anything, write it down. Why? Because the Turnitin plagiarism or any software plagiarism, it will trace the root of the word that you make copy. So if you make copy this name of the word, it will make plagiarized. But if you did not make the copy paste, you just write it by yourself, it will be free plagiarism. So try your best not to make copy paste Yellow River Delta. We are going to say China. So later we will see why a lot of cases in China, why a lot of, I mean, here in the assessments, because those result here, you can make graphs. You can make fancy graphs like bar chart or pie chart. So here for the assessment, it's a kind of point to mention, what are the major countries focus on petroleum contamination? What are the main rivers or the main catchment or what are the ground water bodies? All those things, you are going to assess them, to evaluate them based on all of your review. Maybe you need to put the assessment for each section. That's depend on how huge your review. But I prefer to put a kind of survey assessment section individually, alone. So again, we are going to go back here. Type of treatment, you see here that the type of treatment used in this paper, those are the type of treatment. Unplanted, Bristol grass only, alfalfa only, and Bristol grass and alfalfa mixed plant in contaminated soil. So you need to report those things. I will just copy paste them, but later you do not have to copy paste. You need to write your hand. Okay. The assessment indicator, I mean, what indicator used for assessing this this investigation? I believe those are the assessors. This table might goes for, I mean, just like 20 pages, 3 pages, 30 pages. We don't know. I mean, depending on the survey. The chemical element, those are the chemical elements that we use. So I'm just going to copy them and paste. Data availability, data not available. Data not available. Okay, what other things? What other things can be abstracted from this paper? Let us read. Okay, petroleum contamination, inhabited growth, bristol grass. See this is I just figured out that it is more into plantation. This petroleum contamination more into plantation, because not only soil, it's also for the plants. So you need to, if there is plants reported, you need also to report the plants that have been studied. The plants that they already investigate the influence of the contamination. So we go back again. We continue reading. I'm just reading the abstract, but you have to read all the paper. For the whole paper, you need to study it. At least skim the paper, the whole thing. Let's see, compared to the alpha treatment degradation rate for total petroleum and alpha fraction significantly increased. Okay, you see here, this is the research result. I mean, the outcome of the result, of the research. So this one, I prefer to put it in this way. In this way, you see this section that we are going to focus on. This one, petroleum contamination in soil. This section, it needs. I mean, first paragraph, introduction to the topic. Then you start revealing from the first article presented over the time span. Meaning that you need to write all the papers for soil contamination or petroleum contamination in soil from 2000 up to 2020. Either you need to write them in paragraphs, small paragraphs, or you make it in section, depend on the category of the topic. Or, for example, there are 10 papers, they are speaking about same thing, but different case study. You can combine all those research and say that this research in this case study, this research in this case study. I mean, you need to use a kind of technique to organize your literature content, body, text, in the way do not make it boring, in the way make it summarized, in the way make it benefit for the reader, in the way not repetitive words. I mean, for example, you say this guy revealed, this guy reported, this guy stated, this guy studied, this guy investigated, this guy inspected. Try to make variety of words in your explanation, so that the reader will not feel boring. You yourself, you don't feel boring. So here you need to write from the earliest research in your domain. I mean, 2000 as your research domain was starting from 2000 here, we said, up to date. But however, I'm going to explain this research here. So I will just put this title in front of me, then I will go to this section, which is here, for example, I can start this summarizing this paper in this way. I can make it like in 2 lines or 3 lines. Okay. A case study in yellow delta, yellow river delta was conducted to inspect the petroleum contamination. I'm going to just use abbreviation, petroleum contamination in soil and evaluate the soil contamination based on four treatment methods. You can write the name of the method if you would like. When you write the name, when you know the name, you just say those are the names, and you write 1, 2, 3, whatever. But if you are saying example, you just say example, and you write some. If there is an example, not clearly stated. Example, I mean other things, not only this type of a treatment. And also you need to further a little bit on the methodology. You see here that petroleum contamination inhibit the growth of prostate. I mean, you need to rephrase this one also. I mean, try to make, I will write it here in a kind of red color so that you can catch up what I mean later. Try to make the summary just like what they have done, have studied, method used, and results obtained. It's up to you, but I feel by doing this, it's quite sufficient. Then at the end, you just put the citation. So you see here that this is for every paper. Sometime, maybe some research similar thing. They have done similar thing. I mean, you need to end this paragraph. You just say several other research established on the petroleum contamination in soil using the same methods of treatment. Then you cite all of them. For example, you have 4 or 3, you just list them down, because you do not have to do this for all the papers that they have done same thing, because already there is a table that explain everyone in detail. So if the reader don't understand what's going on in this research, it's already stated here. So whatever paper in the content of the body, it must be here provided in detail. Because this table, it is a kind of a guideline for the readers, a guideline for your supervisor, a guideline for your examiner, a guideline for your reviewer, to understand, I mean, how have you done it. Then we continue here. We're saying that, so MPN analysis indicated. What is this MPN analysis? MPN analysis. I don't know if he ever defined it. You see here, all abbreviation in papers must be defined. Although this one may be known to the readers, I mean to the reader of the domain, but you need to define all the abbreviation. Indicated that the mixed plant treatment can gather benefit to species and facilitate development of alkyne total hydrocarbon and PAH degradate in contaminated soil. This is as a kind of result. So the result of the research, it started from here, going on to here, going on to here. So this is all the research result.
So I think manufacturing part number.
Can. I mean, you can categorize as, you mean the name of the abbreviation?
I think.
I don't know. Anyway, those research results, you can make it in a bullet inside your text. I mean, like for example, the authors indicated that, then you say 1, blah, 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 2, then you say 2, then you indicate what he said and what is the research result. Also put a kind of general statement overall. It's a kind of overall statement summary. So here we need to put another table. Overall mixed plant cultivation has significant influence on plant growth, microbial community, petroleum degradation in contaminated soil. The study provides valuable insight, vegetation restoration system in petroleum contamination site. So you see here, I can add something like research remark. Research remark, it's a kind of overall research significant or research novelty in one sentence. You see, he simply write that, you see, the study provides valuable insight. This is the research remark. I mean, presenting all the topic. This is the research remark. And you can write this much. I mean, there is no problem. So maybe we need to add another thing, another column, add something else important, depending on your survey. But that will be determined later. I mean, depending on your downloaded papers and other things. So you see here that everything reported here, it need to be assessed. So all the mentioned or stated elements in your review must be it's interpreted, I mean explained, discussed, elaborated, justified. So this section, it might goes like for 5 pages, depending on how much point you need to write. There are some examples on review. You can read what things, how the way to explain those points. But however, I cannot report them here because our time is limited. I want to mention here something, the necessity for the established this review. Also, what type of review paper already existed. Maybe there are, let's say there are 5 papers review in this topic, but I am sure 100% they are not covering everything you are going to cover here. I mean, maybe they are focusing on certain topic. Let me try one click here. Let's say that petroleum contamination. I say a review on environmental contamination of petroleum hydrocarbonate you see here the focus. This is the focus of the paper. But for your papers, you are covering all the things. I mean, even it's wider range. Petroleum pollution in Gulf of Thailand. It's specific for Thailand region. A review on biomediation of petroleum hydrocarbon contamination in soil. So this is specific topics. But what we are doing, even this is in 2012, and also I am not sure what is the robustness of this paper, because I am sure, I mean, this kind of papers that you are going to do, I mean, a survey, it will goes at least for 10 impact factor. I mean, highly reputed journal, highly impacted journal, because you are doing something interact between human society, human health, geoscience, atmosphere. You are dealing with something natural. You know, petroleum contamination, it's something by nature. It's not something that we are creating as a human creating. I mean, there is interaction with the human. Probably there is an interaction. For example, there is a kind of way of when they are abstracting the oil, there are some kind of treatments for the oil to dewater the water from the oil. Then they put the water on the soil. Then there will be contamination. There is some part. I mean, you need to explore this topic more. But in general, this topic is totally natural topic, which is make it more complex. The need for this research, the need for more research on this topic, it's really needed. Also, I did not mention that here. For example, if you focus on like atmosphere, maybe we will add here another table. By the way, you can just copy this reference and put it there, or you can do like this. Okay. I mean, at the end of the sentence that you have mentioned here, you cite this one, LM. Okay. So the same reference here, the same reference here, and the same reference will be reported at the end. So there will be no problem in this. So for example, here, atmosphere. Okay. The assessment indicator, it will be totally something related to atmosphere. I mean, the indicator like for example, PM 2.5, I guess you know that, particulate matter, or P10, PM10, something like that, or other parameter, I don't know, I mean, what element they have used. Or for example, data availability, you can mention this chemical element, or maybe there is no chemical element studied. Maybe you can say, okay, types or method used, or مثلا satellite image. What kind of satellite image? What kind of satellite image they use? Or for
I can't say method of collect data.
Can. I told you this table, it will goes up to the information that you have. Sometimes maybe you don't need the remarks in this table. You just need something else. So the generated table, it will be must accommodating the type of papers you are reviewing.
Yeah.
I am sure you will get familiar with this. I mean, once you start to download some papers, you will know what's the meaning of this table. I mean, once you know some guideline, I can share with you one thing. This is actually I follow this style because I was successfully done this in something over the literature. I have published over 30 article review. So you can see this paper, Survey on River Quality, Modeling Using Artificial Intelligence, 2020. This one was belong to one PhD student in Vietnam. So you can see here are the sections. Introduction, artificial neural network. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all those literature. I mean, all those section presenting literature. It is not 2.1, 2.2. No, I mean, the author or the writer, he feel that I need to present every topic in one single section. You can do that if you feel it's required. You see, this is the assessment for the whole review. So 8.1. See, I mean, this is the requirement for the new model development. You see that here. Other things, most explored rivers, because this is river quality or water quality rivers. So what are the rivers used in the research? I mean, how much in China, how much in Canada, how much in Australia? Why? I mean, even you can say that in the future research, we need more research in this domain because there is a lot of contamination in this river, in this region. You see here, this is water quality output consideration. I mean, what kind of parameters? In your case, it will be something like what kind of element, chemical element they study, or what kind of assessment indicator, what kind of type of treatment, what is the method, what is the reliable method. There are some shortcomings in the methods. I don't want to take much here. So this is the assessment. You understand what is the assessment about. Assessment is reflecting everything written in the review research guide. You need to recognize all the research gaps that have been conducted, have been observed from the literature. Future research is an answer questions for the assessment and research gap. I mean, once you observe something and you debate it, discuss it, assess this concern, and you feel that this concern, it needs to be further studied in the future, you need to put it here as a future research. I mean, not one. And you need to put your answer the assessment concern. Concerns one by one. So this is the future research. If you see this paper, I will put this paper as a reference for you. After you follow this paper, it will be no difficult for you at all. You see here how much indicators they use. You see this root mean square error, they have been used 101 times. So why they use this indicator this much? Why they did not use the SC indicator more? You need to elaborate this. Maybe there is some kind of problem in this indicator, not much people use it. Maybe we need to put something like, in the future, we don't need to study this. We don't need to use all those 6 or 7 or 8 indicators in future research because they have been already reported it's something not robust or reliable. Something else here mentioned. Okay. I guess this paper has future research. Oh, sure. Potential future research. This is potential future research. You can see here that A until like Q. So I believe if somebody interested in this topic, he just need to focus on one objective, he can establish a paper. I mean, if he is a master, if he is a PhD student, if he is a normal lecturer, he want to establish research. If he is a lecturer and would like to identify some problem for his student, you just need to read a review paper because everything there. A review paper, it will not be published and list accommodating all those papers, all those sections, so that it will be like something beneficial for the community, especially for academic community. So I will back here again. This is the conclusion. Conclusion, it's something similar to the abstract. I mean, just rewording the things all around. I'm going to, maybe I just write VOS viewer here. Okay, let me open this one. Make something very fast. It will not take a long time. Okay, you need to have an accessed Scopus account. I mean, you have username and password, because in this way you can download more papers. So you see here, I'm going to search in the document, petroleum contamination. This is the Scopus, petroleum contamination, and just say soil. It's around 3,000 paper come out. So you need to change the words. Make it like, just go down 1 second, petroleum contamination, then you make soil and like kind of still. Okay, you need to change the words so that you maintain numbers, the logical numbers. Petroleum contamination, treatment and soil, like something like this. Okay, 900. You see now, when you are trying to have more logical words, more logical result, because I'm sure many papers here not relevant to you. So you need to have something like 100, 200 paper within one search, maybe less than that, maybe 50. But let me make something like petroleum contamination. Let's say Iraq. I don't think so. There are much research here. 2 papers only. This is the search, and I will try to compare it. Okay, what about we make soil, plants, I mean more specific. 239. Now is okay. I'm going to download all those papers, export them in Excel file. This is the Excel file. You see, when you are downloading these papers, basically you can make search here, just like the one that you have done in Google Scholar. So you see here, this is the papers that has been downloaded from Scopus, based on what? On, this is the keywords, because later we're going to debate this. This is the keywords. Okay, so I'm going to VOS viewer. VOS viewer is a kind of very good thematic map. Create a map, related reference. I'm using Scopus website. Then I'm going to go to download. I'm going to go petroleum. This is the one I downloaded just now. 200 plus paper. So what is the benefit of this? You see here that we want to know the keywords. This is the most important thing, I mean, the most interesting thing. We want to know what is the keywords of this domain. You see here, there are 3,000 keywords, but we can search for occurrence 268. So if we decrease the occurrence, number of keywords will increase. You see here, soil pollution, bioremediation, hydrocarbons, article, contamination, petroleum, soil. Let's see what is the graphs generated here. You see, this is the thematic map. Thematic map for biography by discussing every cluster. You see here, you have 87 cluster because we downloaded a lot of papers. So we need to interact between soil pollution, bioremediation, bioremediation. I mean, you see that soil contamination because of petroleum, something has been explored long time ago. But now the trend of the research, how to treat that soil. I mean, what kind of chemical material or natural material to be added to the soil to solve this problem, to remedy those type of soil. There is another thing that you can generate from this. Okay, let me cancel this and say overly visualized by year. You see that most of the research focused between 2010 and 2016, maybe 17. Then research not much. And even you can see what are the keywords focusing on lately, like biodegradation, environmental, like soil pollutants, like genetics, something genetics, I don't know what is in this topic, genetics, soil pollutant control. So this yellow dot, that means this is the recent keywords focus research. You can focus on those also. You can generate, I mean, you can visualize this figure in your paper and debate it. This figure, when it can be placed, basically, it can be placed here. I mean, either in the introductory of the section, like here, for example, here. First paragraph, introduction to the topic. Maybe you put the graphs here and explain it. That we have search in Scopus, this kind of keywords, petroleum, contamination treatment in soil, and we visualize that there are 3,000 keywords, major keywords 200 based on occurrence 5. Then we got this figure, and this figure can tell that bioremedy research is the main focus of recent studies. And here you can open the discussion for this figure. Another thing we can study here, the thing that I really like about this is the authorship countries. I mean, what are the countries that they study this topic? You see here that there are 51 countries. I mean, United States mostly, followed by China, followed by Iran. Basically, from this statistics, you can know what region mainly has this problem or what region has main this research. I mean, adopted this. I'm going to explore select countries, text file, let's say petroleum contamination, soil, plants. Let me save it here. Download. Okay. You see, I'm going to generate a map for the countries. You see, here are the countries that they have mainly focused, because this graphs, it shows only the major countries. The small countries, it will not be presented. You can present this figure, or you can do something like this is the Excel sheet for the papers that we are open. Maybe I say browse all type of files. I bring this. You see here, next, finish. You see, I bring all those countries. I delete this one. Okay, this is the number of document. Then I simply insert. I just go here. Then I say, okay, I'm interested in map, something like this. It will show you like this. I mean, United States clearly 32 research, 33. No, where is United States? United States 42 article. I mean, you see, I mean, this visualization, you can explain it in a small paragraph in the introduction section. I mean, because you want to show how much this worldwide problem. I mean, you can say that priority in China, less papers in Iraq, more research needed in Iraq. If your region is in Algeria, you say more research is needed in Algeria. I mean, you can elaborate all those things using those graphics maps. What else? What else? What else? This is for now regarding the VOS viewer. I'm going to go back to the paper here. So most of the section has been covered here. I hope it will be, I mean, benefit for you. So the title, finally, we can say that petroleum contamination, for or in atmosphere, soil and water bodies like a comprehensive literature review and recognized research gap, something like that. I don't believe there is somebody drafts such kind of title of the literature. So by this we are done. Any question, Dr. Khaldun?
Thanks, Dr. Lo.
So
as well as
hopefully our audience later will get benefit from this. And thank you for watching. Have a good day.